Have you ever heard of a jewel so beautiful, so mesmerizing, that it could steal your soul? Today, we're diving into the chilling legend of the Faceless Princess Medallion, a piece of jewelry whispered to be both a breathtaking treasure and a terrible curse. The story begins in the 18th century in a small, forgotten principality nestled in the heart of Europe. The reigning prince commissioned a medallion for his daughter, Princess Isabella, renowned for her unparalleled beauty. He sought the most skilled jeweler in the land, a man named Alaric, to create a piece that would capture his daughter's essence forever. Alaric, however, was not just a craftsman. He was a dabbler in the dark arts, obsessed with the idea of trapping beauty and life within inanimate objects. He worked for months, isolating himself in his workshop. When he finally emerged, the medallion was a masterpiece, crafted from a strange, milky white gemstone that seemed to glow from within. It was surrounded by intricate silver filigree that resembled grasping vines, but the centerpiece was what made it truly haunting. Inside the stone, there appeared to be a shimmering, ethereal, facer-perfect, yet indistinct portrait of Princess Isabella. The problem was, the face had no features, no eyes, no nose, no mouth. Just a smooth, hauntingly blank oval. The prince was entranced, and Isabella adored her new treasure. She wore it everywhere. But as days turned into weeks, a disturbing change came over the princess. Her once vibrant personality faded. She became withdrawn, listless, her laughter silenced. Her servants would find her staring blankly into mirrors for hours, her own reflection becoming a stranger to her. Her famed beauty began to wither. Her skin grew pale, her eyes lost their sparkle, and her features seemed to blur as if they were slowly being erased. Meanwhile, the face within the medallion began to change. Subtle, almost imperceptible at first, but then undeniable. Wisps of color appeared, forming the ghost of a smile, the hint of an eye. It was as if the medallion was slowly siphoning the princess's vitality, her very identity, to complete the portrait within. The royal court was in a panic. Doctors were summoned, but they could find no physical ailment. The court magician, a wise old man, was the first to suspect the truth. He examined the medallion and felt a cold, parasitic energy emanating from it. He confronted Alaric, the jeweler, who confessed his dark intentions. He had used an ancient, forbidden ritual to bind a piece of Isabella's soul to the gem, believing he could create an eternal, living work of art. Horrified, the prince ordered Alaric's execution and demanded the magician destroy the cursed object. But it was too late. The medallion's power was too strong. The magician managed to halt the process, but he couldn't reverse it. Princess Isabella was left a shell of her former self, her face a vague and forgettable canvas, while the portrait in the medallion remained a beautiful but incomplete and faceless enigma. She became known as the Faceless Princess. The medallion was locked away in the royal vault, deemed too dangerous for the world. But curses, like treasures, have a way of resurfacing. Decades later, during a period of political turmoil, the castle was looted and the vault was plundered. The faceless Princess Medallion vanished, slipping back into the annals of history, only to reappear sporadically, leaving a trail of sorrow in its wake. One of the most famous accounts comes from the late 19th century. A wealthy socialite in Paris named Genevieve acquired the medallion at a clandestine auction. Known for her beauty and vivacious spirit, she was immediately captivated by the jewel's strange allure. She wore it to a grand ball where she was the center of attention, the medallion glowing faintly against her skin. Friends later reported that as the night wore on, Genevieve seemed to grow quieter, her usual sharp wit dulled. Over the next few months, the same tragic pattern repeated. Genevieve became reclusive. Her once striking features seemed to soften and fade, and she complained of feeling empty and unseen. She eventually vanished from public life altogether, with rumors swirling that she had checked into a private sanatorium, her identity lost to the world. The medallion, of course, was gone. The jewel next surfaced in the 1920s in the possession of an American silent film star named Leela Vance. Lila was at the peak of her career, her expressive face captivating audiences worldwide. She reportedly bought the medallion from a mysterious antiques dealer in London. She believed it brought her good luck, as she was immediately cast in the biggest role of her career. But during filming, a strange phenomenon occurred. On camera, her face began to lose its emotive power. Directors complained that her expressions were becoming blank, her eyes vacant. Her career plummeted, and she retired from the screen, living out her days in seclusion. Her last known photograph shows a woman with a hauntingly indistinct face, a ghost of the star she once was. So, what is the science, or rather, the paranormal theory behind this? Experts in occult lore and cursed objects believe the medallion operates on a principle of sympathetic magic. The stone itself is thought to be a rare, psychically porous crystal, capable of absorbing and storing life energy, or what some cultures call a person's chi or essence. A larynx ritual created a permanent link between the jewel and the soul of whoever wears it, specifically targeting their identity and physical appearance, the very things society values as beauty. The curse seems to feed on vanity. It preys on those who are celebrated for their looks, drawing them in with its own strange beauty. Once worn, it begins a slow, parasitic process, draining the wearer's individuality to feed the incomplete portrait within. The face in the stone becomes clearer, more defined, while the wearer's face becomes a blur. It doesn't kill its victims, which is perhaps the most terrifying part. It leaves them alive, but stripped of who they are, making them invisible, forgettable. The last credible sighting of the faceless Princess Medallion was in the 1970s, when it was briefly on display in a private collection in Hong Kong before it was allegedly stolen. Since then, it has disappeared. But is it truly gone, or is it simply waiting, resting in some dusty antique shop or forgotten jewelry box for its next victim? it for someone to be entranced by its milky white glow and the mystery of the blank face within, unaware that they are about to offer their own soul to complete the portrait. The legend of the Faceless Princess Medallion is a chilling reminder that some treasures come at too high a price. It is a story about the danger of vanity and the dark magic that can lie hidden within the most beautiful objects. So, if you ever come across a strange old medallion with a blank face staring out from its core, maybe think twice before putting it on. You might just lose yourself in its beauty permanently. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into one of history's most cursed jewels. What do you think? Is the medallion real or just a cautionary tale? Let me know in the comments below. And if you love dark legends and mysterious histories, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more. Stay curious and stay safe.